This week, Nashville and the country mourn more young lives lost to gun violence in America.
And as Mike Valerio reports, the swift actions by officers who stopped the attacker are receiving praise.
I know as sure as I'm sitting here that Catherine went down protecting those kids.
Her friend, Catherine Kuntz, was head of Covenant Elementary School, one of 6 lives lost in Monday's horrific shooting, remembered alongside Mike Hill, the school's beloved custodian, Big Mike to all the kids, and 3 9-year-old students. Evelyn Dickhouse, her family, shattered, her pastor honoring her on Wednesday.
She's amazing, shining light.
Howie Scruggs, her father, the pastor of the church that runs the school, and their classmate, William Kinney. Substitute teacher Cynthia Peak, who was filling in at Covenant on Monday. She and Catherine Kuntz were both good friends of the wife of Tennessee's governor, Bill Lee.
Cindy and Maria and Catherine Kuntz were all teachers at the same school and have been family friends for decades. We will act to prevent this from happening again.
Smoke! Smoke!
The fast actions of officers who charged in to stop the threat 14 minutes after the first 911 call are being widely praised.
Push it! Go.
There's no standing around the hallway talking about it, asking for extra equipment or more people.
We could have been talking about more tragedy than what we are. We had 6 innocent, beautiful lives that were taken, and we had officers that went in harm's way to stop this.
In Nashville, I'm Mike Valerio reporting.